acting I've ever seen.
The king.
A musician.
Oh, it's good.
I sing. I'm funny.
But who is Eddie?
Well, who are you?
To understand Eddie, we have to start here.
It's in Long Island.
Long Island, USA.
I grew up in Roosevelt, Long Island. Roosevelt, Long Island. I grew up in an all-black neighborhood.
How old were you when your parents divorced?
3.
Did your father continue to be a presence in your life?
Very little.
My father died when I was like 8, so I didn't know him then,
His real father was a transit cop and amateur comedian who left home when Eddie was 3. He was killed 5 years later by a jealous girlfriend.
I think about my father a lot, too,
From 3 to about 8 was crazy. Remember tuberculosis? You would get TB. They would have to, isolate you. My mom's got TB, and we had to go, to a boarding house, and my mom was, isolated for, a year. And we went to Miss Jenkins' house. Because my brother said, if I was walking down the street and I see Miss Jenkins right now, I'd punch her in the face. Miss Jenkins was so mean.
Eddie and his older brother Charlie stayed at the boarding house for about a year and a half while his mother was recovering from tuberculosis.
You've said staying with her was probably the reason that I became a comedian.
I escaped into the television. I started doing voices really, really early.
And why you want to say that? Don't I sound just like him?
When I was a little boy, when we would get in trouble, the punishment for my brothers was that they couldn't go outside. And when I got in trouble, the punishment was I couldn't watch TV. I like makeup movies. When I was young, I always watched movies like Planet of the Apes and American Werewolf in London, whenever there was something with some makeup. I'd do so many voices. My mother would say, well, who's Eddie? Where's Eddie?
He'd find out eventually.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Roosevelt High on Long Island. Howard Stern went to this school. Julius Irving, Dr. J went to this school. I went to this school. And Public Enemy, Flavor Flav. All within 15 years of each other.
I started out as a class clown, and from the class clown, I went to the school clown. From the school clown, I went to the neighborhood clown.
Your high school briefcase was full of joke books.
13, 14, I started saying that I was going to be famous. I knew really, really early that I wanted to do this.
And he knew something was coming. It was in the stars.
A fortune teller told my grandmother, someone from your family is going to be very famous, he said. And all my uncles and my father and all of them went into show business. I was always a kid that did voices and was funny and stuff. And all the bars started having gong show night.
It's the Gong Show!
So I went up to one of these gong show nights. That's where I kind of got started.
What did you do when you were on stage?
I did all of Richard Pryor's material.
See, up.
When I heard Richard Pryor and it's an album he did in 1974 called That Is Crazy, I was like, oh, that's who I am. Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, I grew up, looking at and admiring those two guys.
We'll get back to them.
Did you have a happy childhood growing up? Did you have
Very happy.
fun time?
Very happy, very, very normal childhood.
Eddie was raised by his mother and stepfather in middle-class Long Island.
When my mother and father broke up, I had a little tragic period up until 8. But Mr. Lynch, who raised me, he's such a good man. I was raised in a household with 2 parents and a lot of love and a yard. And there's no darkness at the root of me being funny. I was just funny. And I was never creepy outside. I graduated most popular boy.
When I was about 15 years old, I started doing talent shows and stuff like that. When I was about 17, I started working out at first I went to the Improv, and I hated it.
That was back in them days when you didn't mind taking on a woman who had kids. Back in the late 60s, 70s. Yeah, you didn't mind taking on a woman who had kids because they would be appreciative of it. Now it's like they feel like it's a birthright.
And I went to the comic strip, and they gave me more freedom on the stage.
It's okay, you got permission. I ain't gonna hurt nobody.
I became a working comic by the time I was 18 years old.
I want to get, famous by the time I'm 21. I'm 19 now. I give myself 2 years.
And then at 19, they gave me this show and ruined all that for me.
Beginning on October the 11th, Saturday night, we'll open up a whole new live venture from New York City, from Studio 8H here at Rockefeller Center.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
You've only ever auditioned once in your life.
Yeah, no, I auditioned for SNL when I was 18, and that was my audition. They had a cattle call, like the original cast left in 1980, and they had, or 79, and they had a cattle call, and they were recasting the show. And I was doing stand-up. I was working at the comic strip in Manhattan. It was just one guy in the office, the guy named Neil.
Damn, Eddie Murphy been around for a long ass time.
Levy was Lawrence's nephew, and he's just sitting in the room by himself. And I went in this office, and he just said, "Make me laugh." And I, did my stuff, and he kind of sat there looking at me like that. And afterwards he said, thank you.
Was that the dream to do Saturday Night Live?
I was thinking, if I get on TV, and then I'll get more exposure and people will see my stand-up.
Maybe 3-4 weeks passed, they called me back, and I went in there again, and it was him and Liz Welsh and Mike Zanella. It was 3 people this time. To make us laugh.
I liked very much the imitations you did. The impressions were great.
By the end of season 5, Lorne Michaels asked to step away from the show, hoping to pause it for a year and return with a reimagined version. But NBC had other plans. Instead of waiting, they promoted his associate producer, Gene Dominion, to take over. Frustrated by the decision, nearly every cast member and writer followed Lorne out the door. Gene had to hire a whole new staff. And the truth is, the show needed Eddie.
I've been a junior at Cleveland High going on 7 years now.
They hired him as a featured player, because at the time, he was the youngest cast member they'd ever had.
I went in there and did the audition, and they called me back, and they told me to make me a feature player because I was too young to be in the cast. They said, there's a lot of pressure. And then
midway through his first season, Eddie was promoted to the main cast, and that got the ball rolling.
Say what? Did you know at that moment how your life was going to change?
Absolutely not. I remember the sound in the room and the feeling in the room the first time where it really worked, and it was like this on TV, and I couldn't wait for the kids I went to high school with to see it. I was like, they gonna see this?
He's emerged as one of the brightest lights of the cast on that show. You're welcome, Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Thank you. Shut up.
He can take pretty much sole credit for rescuing Saturday Night Live from its early 80s slump.
So I would be walking the streets, and people would walk up to me and be like, man, you be up on that show. They think I was getting high, and I wasn't. I wasn't high at all. I was 19. I went to the blues bar. It was me, Belushi, and Robin Williams. They to go out and start doing. And I was like, oh no, I'm cool. And because I was really young, and it was been so easy to try some. I wasn't taking some moral stance, but I just wasn't interested in it.
He was too fixated on becoming a star.
Well, you're doing something now that you've obviously wanted to do, and that is a feature film.
48 Hours with Nick Nolte.
Originally, it was supposed to be, I think, Gene Wilder, Richard.
Maybe them white boys trying to sabotage your ass. Hey, straight, try this cocaine. Trying to get you all strung out and shit, so you can lose your focus. That's good. Eddie was headstrong. Like, no, y'all go to hell with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Prior movie, my agent was sleeping with the director, and that's how I got the movie.
Being associated with Saturday Night Live, the public, quite naturally, they're expecting you to do a comedy.
Oh, he gave some details. So he got the role because his agent was sleeping with the... Hold on, what he said?
He was too fixated on becoming a star.
Well, you're doing something now that you've obviously wanted to do, and that is a feature film.
48 Hours with Nick Nolte.
Originally, it was supposed to be, I think, Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor movie.
My agent was sleeping with the director, and that's how I got the movie.
Being associated with Saturday Night Live, the public, quite naturally.
Connections, no matter how good you are, it's all about connections. His agent was sleeping with the director. His agent must be was the female, or maybe she was... No, I think it was directed by a man, so yeah,
Actually, they're expecting you to do a comedy. The first movie that you do, they expect you to do something like, it's just a wild comedy. But I thought it would be hip, while everybody was saying, wait, when I do my movie to be a comedy, to come out and do a serious picture. I feel good, and the director feels good, and everybody feels good.
It was Eddie's first movie, and he was still finding his footing.
There was a lot of discussion of me being fired, but I didn't even know about it. I was just so happy to be in a movie. I was just, gassed up. They really came close to firing me. And Jeff Katzenberg, my very dear friend, he came to the rescue.
He blew up so quickly, he became the first cast member to ever host SNL while still on the show, on a fluke.
Nick had been bailed out at the last minute, and we were in 48 Hours together, so.
I'm the host of the show. Live from New York, it's the Eddie Murphy Show!
By his third season, Eddie was unstoppable.
You're into your third season on a popular television series. You have a new record album coming out. You have a film that shows you can not only be funny, but also act dramatically. You've got a stand-up comedy routine you can take to just about any club in the country.
That comedy routine would later be known as Delirious.
Nothing will ever be like Delirious. He took comedy to a level that no one's ever done. He is the best.
Is it all right if I come down there and
I'm
see?
the very first person to do a Michael Jackson, to say something funny about Michael Jackson in Delirious. And he thought it was hysterical because it's not mean-spirited.
Tito, get me some tissue. Michael, that whole red jacket thing and Thriller.
after Delirious when I had on the red suit and all that. I'm not saying he was influenced, but I had on a red jacket before.
Comedians did not usually dress like that.
Delirious came out, it was this big controversial thing because of language and subject matter.
Some criticized it for being anti-gay.
The joke's about homosexuals. Why does he do it?
I'm not a malicious comic, you know. I poke fun. I don't like stab you with my humor. I don't try to anyway.
He'd later put out a one-page statement apologizing for his jokes.
I treat it like a game, and the industry looks like, hey, he's dangerous and different. No, I don't want to trade places with anybody.
This movie should play in your theaters because we think we're making a comedy.
We think it's funny.
Do you ever dream that you would make it to the big silver screen?
That was part of my game plan to make it a screen someday, to do movies one day.
By 1984, Eddie's movie career was proceeding at full throttle.
After 48 hours, Paramount gave me some 5-picture deal for $15 million.
Man, I was just the hugest Eddie Murphy fan. Like, when I was a kid, I never wanted to be a comedian, but I just loved to watch Eddie Murphy, man. When I was a kid, I was a little kid when he was on SNL. I vaguely remember. I remember when I was at one of my very first movies I went to go see when I was a kid was 40. My brother and my sister took me to go see. My brother was in his 20s at the time, and my sister was like in her late teens. She was getting ready to go off to college, and she had just graduated. We went to go see. My brother took us to go see 48 Hours. He took us out to dinner, and then we went to go see 48 Hours. I was like, wow. I thought that was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
To us, that was like, I was set for life.
In early '84, he decided he was done with SNL.
I'm leaving the show in May. There are restrictions, and there's not much you can do on television. The censors won't let me do a lot of things I think is funny, so I have to do movies.
He is currently starring in a film called Beverly Hills Cop.
You weren't originally considered for this thing, were you? Was somebody else?
It was Sylvester Stallone. I think they wanted to make the movie funnier. I was going to do Ghostbusters, but Beverly Hills Cop was a leading role, and Ghostbusters was like an ensemble thing. I'd never been the lead guy, so...
At the time, Beverly Hills Cop was the third highest grossing movie ever, and Eddie was out of here.
At one point in the last couple of years, did you have dinner with Marlon Brando?
Yes, I was just blown away that, he had seen my work.
Back then, I just thought, oh, that's the way it is. You make a movie, and then Marlon Brando comes. And he did a scene for 48 Hours. So he said, you became a star when you said, I am your worst nightmare.
What the hell? Let's move on to something else.
Ronald Reagan is the president. There was no black Hollywood. You had the Jackson 5 and me and Magic Johnson. Okay. That was all the black people.
Right, you did in the 80s,
all the black people around when I came out. Right. I kind of took it for granted.
And you seem to be a rather quiet and shy guy. Is that the real Eddie Murphy, or...?
You said I was going crazy. It was happening too fast. I'd go from being the happiest guy in the world to being depressed.
It's really when you get famous really young, especially a black artist. I liken it to, it's like living in a minefield. At any moment you just step on a mine. At any moment something could happen that can undo everything.
But he couldn't slow down to watch his back. He was a rock star, literally.
I'm an artist and I just do a bunch of different stuff. My mother would go to work and I'd get dressed up and do shows by myself in the basement. Or I'd break into the auditorium at the school and get on the stage and do shows.
Comedian of all time, the king.
I've always been cool with him. Don't get me wrong, he's not, like you and me. Yeah. I guess Michael Jackson. But he's pretty normal.
And Michael wasn't the only one he was getting close to.
What is the deal with you and Eddie?
Oh, Byron. We're friends, we're close friends.
Back in our youth, Whitney was another person, just a friend of mine. I may have gone to dinner with her a few times, but it was never like we were dating. We were never boyfriends and girlfriends.
She was enamored by Eddie.
274-2903. 213 area code.
Have you ever had a date from hell?
I invited Eddie Murphy to my house one time. He's not gonna like it. And I invited him to dinner. And I remember he said, yeah, I'll be there. And I pre-cooked and all the stuff, and he never came.
You did all the cooking? That Eddie Murphy had called her the morning of her wedding to Bobby.
Yeah.
And warned her not to get married.
Whitney said, guess who just called? And I said, who? She said, Eddie. He must be out of his mind. He's going to call me on my wedding day and tell me that I'm making a mistake.
Eddie had his fair share of women, and by 1990, he had become a father to 2 sons.
This is where I'm going to make my children.
Around that time, he also began a long-term relationship with model Nicole Mitchell. whom he met at the 1988 Image Awards. After nearly 2 years of living together, the couple married in March of 1993.
These days, Murphy is spending most of his free time with his longtime love, model Nicole Mitchell.
I met her a couple times when I was with TMZ. She's really cool, Nicole Murphy. They would think her being as fine as she is, that she had like a fucked up attitude, but yeah, she's really down to earth.
And their 2-year-old daughter, Bria.
And you're getting married in March.
March 18th. I'm the happiest I've been ever right now.
But that's for Redbone. You know, Redbones usually be stuck up. Redbones, like you don't see too many cool Redbones. Usually red because I don't know how it is now. Back in the day, maybe it's changed since then, but back in the day, Redbones were kind of like, ooh, I'm a Redbone. Like, ooh. Especially if she had like green eyes or some shit. I went to school with a girl named Shannon. She thought she was the shit because she had hazel eyes and she was light-skinned. Hit the thumbs up button.
Around that time, Eddie entered a low point in his otherwise Teflon career.
And so finally to another 48 Hours. And if you're expecting this to be anything like as good as the original 48 Hours, or even just a little bit better than Blue Heat, forget it.
By the time another 48 Hours came out, Time magazine characterized Murphy as a stereotype. Missing and presumed dead.
His latest film, Beverly Hills Cop 3, opens this Wednesday.
His latest picture still stinks.
Look, children, it's a falling star. Make a wish.
David Spade said that about my career on SNL. Vampire in Brooklyn, it came out. It was an added flop. And it was like, wait, hold on now. This is Saturday Night Live. I'm the biggest thing that ever came off that show. Now you got somebody from the cast making a crack about my career.
And he didn't make many friends in the Academy either.
Because they haven't recognized black people in the motion picture.
After I said that, there was no mention. It was almost like I wasn't at the awards that night. The next day, there was no mention of it in the paper. And there were no pictures of me at the Oscars.
And I'll probably never win an Oscar for saying this.
Do you believe the government bugged your house? At what point?
Well, we found a little microphone in my house, in my bedroom. Did I say the government? Somebody put a microphone in there. In the 80s, all they heard in my room was serious going there.
Some criticism has come your way by from people like Spike Lee, who has said, you know, Eddie hasn't really been in the forefront of the black film movement in the last 2 or 3 years.
I mean, there would be no Spike if there were no me. So you can't say like, well, Eddie hasn't done enough because, hey, you here, ain't you?
His last couple of films were box office flops.
What happens is, as an artist, because you care what the critics are saying, you care what the audience is saying, you start trying to cater to them. And you be trying to make everybody happy. And you lose yourself trying to do it.
He had a few bright spots, of course.
There's something different about Eddie Murphy these days.
And I'm because the mind didn't move from the bird.
As you get older, you change.
You like being a dad? You have fun with it?
I want to look good for my wife, too.
Hey, you. The coolest thing about Boomerang and the most political thing about Boomerang is that it's a movie with all black cast. And it has nothing to do with being black or nothing.
You got to coordinate.
Yeah, this cat in the LA Times is tripping because there were no, there were white people in the movie, but there were no white leads in it. And you take a picture like Boys in the Hood. No one tripped about that because it was, a movie that dealt with a violent thing, but regular thing, and it was business. Or we're the white people. Who's running that office?
When I'm on camera with you, don't be,
Like we can't
Get
run
back
shit.
in the song. I'm dropping a single with Michael Jackson called "What's Up With You."
I remember that song. I forgot when that song came out.
The rise and fall of a 1960s girl group
Oh, he
on
played
their
Jimmy.
quest for fame.
I saw the original play 5 times. Been making movies for a long time, and just to be involved with a piece of material like this that's a dream come true.
Eddie Murphy is back and hitting the high note.
Oh,
Smooth
shit.
talking James Thunder Early.
James Thunder Early, yeah.
It's risky because, I'm known for, people come to see me in comedies, and Jamie is known for singing and acting, and Beyonce is known for singing.
If you gotta do it with the Nas, do it behind Eddie Murphy.
So I'm in uncharted waters, and I don't have an inch of makeup on to hide behind. It's just me out there with a pompadour wig on, singing.
But, I thought there we saw the real Eddie Murphy.
That wasn't me. That's not the real me. And when they offered the movie to me, they originally offered me Jamie's part. And I was like, oh, no, I want to play that other guy.
Eddie Murphy won a Golden Globe, and now he's the front runner for an Oscar.
I never got nominated for nothing, and it's a great time.
Won you a SAG Award, a Golden Globe Award, your first Academy Award nomination.
And the Oscar goes to...
And I'll probably never win an Oscar for saying this.
Alan Arkin and Little Miss Sunshine.
You think that had something to do with it?
No, what do you think?
This opens up a bunch of opportunities to do different stuff.
But after Dreamgirls, Eddie went right back to what he knew.
And now a new movie, baby, that further proves he's back big time in Hollywood.
Norbit.
Starring Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy.
For a while, he rested on his laurels. Another wedding, another separation, and a baby with a Spice Girl along the way.
We planned that baby together and we were madly in love. And it just went wrong. Dramatically went wrong.
He denied paternity of the child until DNA tests proved otherwise.
He is very sensitive.
I like a day where there's nothing, and my kids, I can hear my kids, you know. And
he must have known she was banging somebody else. He must have, for him to not want to deal with the kid, he probably found out she's messing with some other cats. It had to be for him. I don't see him just not taking care of a kid if he know he was the only one messing with her. He probably knew they probably was together, but he probably felt like, oh, chick, you done mess around. So you mess around with dudes. You know what I'm saying? That ain't my damn baby. That's somebody, one of the other cats you've been letting ski.
Wherever they at, I sit around and play guitar. The ideal day for me is nothing.
But in 2019, the comeback began.
Dolomite is my name.
Rudy Ray Moore. Why did you decide to do a biography of Rudy Ray Moore?
My fascination with Rudy Ray Moore just started off like everybody else. He had a little cult following.
In the opening credits, you dedicate this film to your brother.
An end credit.
Charlie Murphy passed away in 2017 after a battle with leukemia.
One of the funniest people ever.
So Eddie Murphy, everybody, returns to Saturday Night Live tomorrow night.
Not happened since, I think, 84.
It was kind of surreal.
And he made up with the former cast members.
I just felt bad. I was a little thorn in his side for all the time, but we're all good now.
That was your first Emmy? Why do I find that so hard to believe?
No. Why do you find it hard to believe?
Eddie was never an awards darling.
Black people will not ride the caboose of society, and we will not bring up the rear anymore. I want you to recognize it.
But that doesn't matter.
I've been in show business for 46 years.
You just finished Coming to America 2.
I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. And I've been in the movie business for 41 years. It's a blueprint, and I followed it my whole career. Pay your taxes, mind your business, and keep Will Smith's wife's name out your f***ing mouth.
Funny, as always.
Eddie Murphy's my idol.
Edward Regan Murphy was the reason I started doing comedy.
This is sort of the king of comedy.
Yeah, I always felt like it was a blessing. There's no higher blessing. You make people laugh. That's more than anything. It's more than making them dance and whatever, making them feel drama or what. To know and look around and see that all the good things that come in my life that came to me all came from making somebody laugh.
Yeah, this is dope, man. Y'all can check it out. This is DRM's documentary. Go ahead and subscribe to them. I just did just now. DRMS. That's the name of the YouTuber. I had to give credit to the content creator that gave me this content to go ahead and do reaction to. Like I said, I was a big Eddie Murphy fan, man. I grew up on Eddie. So, yeah. You know what? I just saw that last movie he just did. I think it's called The Pickup. You know, and the movies always have to have the in it. It's the score, you know. But anyway, it's The Pickup, and it's with Keke Palmer, Eddie Murphy, and the white boy. I forgot what's his name. Scott Peterson, Jordan. What was his name? What is that white boy name? Jordan. What is his name? Sutton Peterson. Pete Smith. Pete Davis. Pete Davis. I think his name is Pete Davis. I think that's his name. Yeah, Pete Davis is in it. And Eddie Murphy. It's okay. I have to go back and watch it again because I watched it in pieces. I watched a little bit in the morning and I had to go to work and I came back, watched a little bit of it, and then I went and did some other shit. Then I finally watched the end of it. So I'm gonna go back. I think I might have fell asleep. I'm gonna go back and watch it in its entirety. You know, but from what I saw, it's a decent movie. You know, it's not like Dolomite Is My Name. That was a good movie. He did a good. Him playing that biopic of Dolomite. That was a really good film. You know, that was a really good movie. Man, in fact, I've watched that at least 3 or 4 times already, you know. Him playing Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore. Anyway, what y'all think about this video, man? Leave your comments and subscribe to Charles and Israel. Hit the thumbs up button.